On the 16th of March, I was tasked to fly 2 individuals from Tegucigalpa on a sightseeing mission around Honduras, over the camps and back into Pomarola Air Base. We were flying an aircraft 228, which is actually aircraft tail number, I don't see it right offhand in here. At any rate, it was Dustoff 228. Mr. Hibbard was a pilot. I was his co-pilot on this particular mission. Our passengers were R. Young of the Arkansas National Guard and an M. Harari, who represented interests of Panama and was referred to as Ambassador Harari. M. Harari was actually Mike Harari, a Mossad agent. During the flight, I had installed a recorder, a cassette tape recorder that recorded all conversations on board the aircraft. We did activate that recorder during the flight. The personnel in the back of the aircraft, talking on our private intercom, did not know that what they were saying was not private. In the conversation between Mr. Harari and Mr. Young, Mr. Young was asking Mr. Harari basically, what's going on here? But he says Arkansas has the capability to manufacture anything in the area of weapons, and if we don't have it, we'll get it. Harari said in return, how about government controls? Well, Young then came in and said, the governor's on top of it, and if the feds get nosy, we hear about it and make a call. Then they're called off. He was looking around the countryside and continued, why the hell would anyone fight for a shithole like this? Harari referred, shaking his head in awe, what we do has nothing to do with preserving a country's integrity. It's just business. And third world countries see their destiny as defeating borders and expanding. The more of this mentality we can produce, the greater our wealth. We train and we arm. That's our job. And in return, we get a product, far more value than money for a gun. We're paid with the product, and we credit top dollar for the product. Still looking confused. Buddy was still looking confused, and Mike continued. Look, one gun and 3,000 rounds of ammo is $1,200. A kilo of product is about $1,000. We credit the Contras $1,500 for every kilo. That's top dollar for a kilo of cocaine down here. It's equivalent to the Americans' Kmart special, buy 4, get 1 free. On our side, we spend $1,200 for a kilo and sell it for $12,000 to $15,000. Now that's a profit center. And the market is much greater for the product than for the weapons. It's just good business sense, understand? Buddy responded with, damn, so you guys promote wars and revolution to provide weapons for drugs. We provide the non-numbered parts to change out, and we all win. Damn, that's good. Harari, the Mossad agent, said in return, it's good when it works, but someone, how do you say, has his hand in the gopher? Buddy responding on the defensive. Well, we get our 10% right off the top, and that's plenty. Goofus can make it go a long way. Harari responded to that. Who is Goofus? Governor Clinton. That's our pet word for him. You know, they call the president POTUS for President of the United States. Well, we call Clinton Goofus for Governor of the United States. He thinks he is, anyhow. That's your problem in America, Harari responded. You have no respect for your elected officials. They're more powerful than you think and have ears everywhere. You should heed my words and be loyal to your leaders, especially when speaking to persons like me. Your remarks indicate a weakness, something our intelligence analysts look for. Hell, Mike, everybody knows that Clinton wants that White House and will do anything to get it. That's why I'm here instead of someone else. We know about the cocaine. Hell, I've picked it up before with Lassiter when he was worried about going on to Little Rock Air Base to get it. A new line of conversation ensued, and in this line of conversation, Young said this, answering Harari's question about what's going on in Arkansas. Clinton thinks he's in charge, but he'll only go as far as Casey allows. Me and my staff, we keep the lid on things. You know, complaints about night flying Arkansas people are private folks. They don't like a lot of commotion, and Mena just isn't the right place for the operation. It keeps us busy at the shredder, if you know what I mean. Dan the man, speaking of Lassiter, he does magic with the money. Between him and Jack Stevens, we don't have to worry a bit about it. Then we got Parks. If there's any problem, he's the man. Finnis oversees our drop zone. Nash, he's just like the boss. boss's yes man. Personally, I think he's a mistake. And in finishing their conversation, he spoke of a man named Barry Seal. Buddy Young said, Seal and his guys, I like his attitude, and leave the driving to us, he said, quoting one of Seal's good old boys, saying, you like Seal? Mike asked. Buddy returned with, hell, he's the only one I trust. Respect is the word. Do you see much of him? Harari asked. Hell yeah, we test drive Clinton's rides before we send him on, you know. He laughed, grinding his hips, saying, how much coke do you reckon you can make in a week? Harari responded with, one camp can produce 400 keys a week. The others are about half that. But that's just our operation here. We have other sources in various parts of the world. Why do you ask? What? Oh, the governor wanted to know our capacity. Mike, who else is on the team? Well, hell, I forget who I told you about. Harari ran down the list from his memory, and then Young continued, oh, there's a manufacturer, these two, and the tape stopped at that point. That's a taped conversation between Mike Harari and Buddy Young. Buddy Young was the security chief for Governor Clinton of Arkansas. What are we looking at? This is a Department of Defense International Flight Plan filed on the 30th of March 1985 with operations at Pomerola Air Base. The flight was actually a day flight into La Mesa and then on into Tela, Honduras. We were delivering some people in for an overnight stay. That night, I was tasked by Wally World, the intelligence arm of Pomerola Air Base, to pick up several passengers. These are the notes from those passengers that I picked up and flew that night under night vision goggle flight. I flew a man named North, a man named Rodriguez, a man named Dr. Gus, who was actual General Alvarez, and a man named Ami Nir, who was the counterterrorism counselor to Shimon Peres of Israel. I flew them into Rus Rus, a camp outside of the main camp where a cocaine kitchen was operating by the Contras. We then went to Santa Ana, another cocaine kitchen in operation by the Contras. North said the following. Vice President Bush was going to take care of Seal and Noriega. They spoke about the meeting in Costa Rica 6 days prior. Said Barr had spoken to Bush via SATCOM. The Vice President ordered that Seal and Noriega be taken out. When Barr handed me the phone, Vice President Bush seemed very agitated. He wanted the serial number of Seal's aircraft. He said if we needed to, we may have to take extreme measures. He told me that these men were out of control. This shouldn't be happening, he said. Do you understand? I told him that I did, but I really didn't at that point. This shouldn't be happening, he had repeated. Now it's going into perspective. He wants a hit on Seal and Noriega. It'd be pretty easy, a cooler marked med supplies on Seal's plane, but one like we'd put on Torrijos aircraft. One in Noriega's plane, too. That would take care of the problem. Barr said he'd take care of it, though. I wonder what he'll do. These were my notes on the 30th of March, 1985. I believe today we know exactly what he did to take care of Mr. Seal and Mr. Noriega. Initial conversations in that camp indicated that from Mr. North that Jeb would take care of it with his friends in Colombia. I believe in 1986 Barry Seal was assassinated by 3 Colombians.